tough enough for us to stop the run. New Haven's been hurt all year. Last week, 288 yards, Mississinawa against the run. So you can't give up penalties either. And now it puts you in a 1st and 5. And if I'm DeKalb, I can attack you in so many different ways. So again, don't beat yourself if you're New Haven.
Yeah, especially they say that front four, watch the ball, don't go with the head count or the bobbing count. Play action fake. Here's Eschbach wanting to throw, steps up in the pocket, gets out of trouble, stumbles and falls down, but close to a first down around the New Haven 41-yard line.
And New Haven's lucky because I thought Eschbach on that had really an open field, but he stumbles down. But that's what's nice about a senior quarterback. You know, we talked about Eschbach coming into the game, Joe, 6 touchdowns, but the ability to be efficient and understand when everybody's covered to tuck that ball and get upfield.
They will move the chains. Officials took a long look at it. They'll spot it at the Bulldog 41. DeKalb huddling up now, and Logan Dallas will bring him up to the line of scrimmage. And they'll split Kai Zacharias wide to the right side. Got a wing back off to the right side as well. Now motion coming back to the left side. Play action fake. Eschbach looking. Now rolls to its right side, buying time. Looking, throws. There's a ball intercepted. Howard Chandler's got it at the 40 and brings it back to the New Haven 42 to the 43-yard line. So Howard Chandler with his interception. First of the year for the Bulldogs, and they deny the Barron drive, and it'll be New Haven 1st and 10.
Good heads-up play by Chandler, the senior, 6 feet, 160, steps in front of the receiver. And we talked about that last week as far as quarterbacks. Eschbach cannot throw that ball late, Joe. You have to trust what you see and let it rip. And when you throw the ball late back against the middle of the field, it allows good corners like Howard Chandler to make that play. That's huge for New Haven. That's the turnover they need, and maybe a chance for some momentum, get the offense going.
Bulldogs will spread the field 2 wide either side. They'll look to hand the ball off. Here's a pass into the flats, complete near side. Here's a run after the catch, and good move up the midfield. And just short of a first down, there'll be a pickup of about 8 yards. And
it's Jamar Hutchins that time, Joe.
He's one of the, remember he and his brother, Lamar, they were injured early in the year and really were not much of a factor. If they can keep them healthy, they can very much be a big factor.
Yeah, we missed them last year and we did New Haven, but they're explosive on the edge.
Shotgun formation now. Williams backs away. Play clock still at 17. 2nd down and 2 after the gain of 8. Bulldogs trying to capitalize on the interception by Howard Chandler. Now they change the play call at the line of scrimmage. Play clock down to 5. Here's Jakar Williams, hands it off and a run up the middle for a first down. Good hitting play by DeAndre Wright. Wright comes in with 147 yards on the ground. Had 17 carries last week at Mississinawa, Joe, for 75 yards. That's almost 4.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, one of our favorite players in the area. He plays both ways, and he's really known at the linebacker position. He had 88 tackles last year, so a fantastic athlete to play both ways, Joe.
Ball at the DeKalb 42 now. Bulldogs moving from right to left. Again, Williams, the sophomore, at 6'3". Will have 2 wide either side of the field. Wright stays in as the running back, offset to the left side. Here's a read option they'll give him. He works to the left side, brings it inside the 40 down at least to the 39-yard line. The hole was not there, Joe, up the middle, and he just slid off to the left side and gets a positive gain of about 3, maybe 4 yards.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good back when you get that initial contact. Can you get those extra yards? But how about Dominic Bevins for DeKalb from the linebacker position, filling that hole? Good defense that time by DeKalb. 2nd
down, let's call it 7. Motion now from left to right. They'll hand it off. Hutchins on a sweep, needs a block and cannot turn the corner. He's brought down for a loss back outside the 40-yard line. Very tough to run laterally.
Yeah, and that's Devin Smith out there, the defensive Joe. He leads them in tackles for DeKalb with 23 tackles. And that time, Devin Smith does a fantastic job not to get beat inside. He keeps that outside arm free, and he forces that play out to the boundary. So that is really good defense for DeKalb. And that was a big stop that time, Joe.
There was a hold against New Haven, but there was no game. In fact, a loss on the play. Let's see if Pete Kemp's going to decline the penalty.
I would take it. I would push them back because with a young quarterback, I kind of want him to have to make some decisions when they're behind the chains, Joe.
So that'll move the ball back. The penalty is accepted. It'll move it back to midfield. It'll remain second down. Second down and 18. And they'll spot that ball right in the middle of the Bulldog decal here at John Young Stadium. Shotgun formation once again. They stay with now 3 wide to the left side. Here's Williams, loads, fires. He's got a man downfield. The ball's tipped in the air, incomplete. Intended for Lane Woodson. Double coverage, but Woodson did have a bit of a step, and remember, he goes 6 feet.
Yeah, and that was good defense by Caleb Nixon to get out there and tip that ball away for DeKalb. And I'll tell you what, seems like every week we have a connection. I played with Lane Woodson's daddy over at Southside. He was a defensive tackle, and on the way in, he was cooking a barbecue. Joe, he had pork, and he had steak, and he had burgers, and he was offering us food. And it was all Tommy and I could do, not just sit down in one of those chairs. But it's good to see his boy out there playing. But good defense for DeKalb that time.
Third down and 18. Here's Williams. Looks, screens the ball near side. Hutchins gives ground, looks for running room, reverses back to the left, got a block. Touch to the 45. Knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line of DeKalb. That'll be about 9 yards short of the first down stick. But fourth down coming up, and Jimmy Lynn's going to play field position to have the ball punted away.
And that was good discipline with the DeKalb defense, Joe, because New Haven can attack you with their spree, with those screens and all their speed. And that time DeKalb keeps their discipline. Everybody plays their gap and gets a stop. So good defensive series. The DeKalb defense that's really struggled at times this year.
One back and kick return for the Barons. Howard Chandler, who had the interception. High snap, it's got it, steps into it. Low line drive, bounding ball. That'll take a bounce, fielded at the 12-yard line. Here's a run up across the 20 to the 24-yard line. So DeKalb goes back on offense for the second time here this afternoon. Corey Price on the return. And it'll be 1st and 10, Barons. No score with 7:43 remaining in this opening quarter.
And that was Easton Rhodes, Joe, that came up and caught that football, and that was a good move, as that's going to probably save DeKalb about 15 yards in field position. And Easton Rhodes has been their leading receiver so far, Joe. He's got 6 catches for 145 yards in a year, and get this, 24 yards per catch average. So big-time average and a big-time explosive player for Easton Rhodes.
Barons now, shotgun formation for Eschbach. He's got Tanner Jack motion now to the left side off the wingback position. Eschbach on the read option, hands it off. There's running room off to the right side. And Tanner Jack able to curl up the middle across the 30-yard line. In that play designed to go off the B gap to the left side, but it was not there, so he just reversed around the right end and does gain about 6 yards.
Yeah, and he's got 20 carries for 94 yards coming in, Joe, and they like to run Miller, obviously. Jack's kind of their bigger back, Joe. They like to run between the tackles, and they may see an advantage with that big offensive line against that New Haven defensive line.
Jack stays in as the running back offset behind Evan Eschbach. Corners come up in press coverage now for New Haven, and they'll run the ball again. There's a counter run, and Jack's behind the second level as he's all the way to New Haven 35, carries a tackler down to about the 30. Well, let's correct that. He's all the way up to about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, we're going to flag down the play. I think that's going to come back. I think you're going to have holding on DeKalb. We'll see. But how about that offensive line for DeKalb? We talked about, Joe, in the pregame. Almost 250 across the front, and 4 of the 5 guys are over 6 feet tall. So they've got some big kids on the offensive line, and when they can fire off that ball and run downhill, that power tackle game is really effective for DeKalb.
E.J. Carroll chatting with his fellow officials. Are they picking up the flag?
Oh, wow, that's a big break for DeKalb, because I thought that was going to be holding on the wide receiver out there, but that's a big break for DeKalb, and DeKalb would love to get that run game cranked up. And Joe, they're averaging 174 yards per game, so that's how they were really able to bludgeon Garrett last week, was between the tackles with their run game.
So DeKalb avoids the yellow laundry. Instead, they'll have a 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. Clock just under 7 minutes, time remaining, opening quarter, no score. 1 wide either side of the field now. Eschbach barking out the signals, looks, hands it off, and this is Zacharias, I think, in there. Kai Zacharias is able to get back only to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was good penetration that time with New Haven. Looked like DeAndre Wright filled that hole from his linebacker position. They shut that play down. So that's what New Haven needs to do, and they haven't done it, Joe. New Haven needs to win on first down with their defense and force DeKalb into a passing situation. And I was really shocked that New Haven gave up 288 yards rushing last week. So that's got to get better for Coach Lynn.
Tight trips package wide to the left, the short side of the field for DeKalb. And here is the drop by Eschbach. Looking time in the pocket. Now reverses back to the left side. Still on his feet. Loads. Throws to the left side. It's got a tip ball incomplete. Heck, New Haven had another possible shot at the interception, but Jamar Hutchins could not find the handle on it. And it'll bring up third down and 10.
Yeah, and that New Haven defensive line was all over Eschbach that time. Looked like it was Josh Grigsby that got in there. If you're Eschbach, I understand you want to make a play, but you have to be careful not to make a big mistake there. But also on the back end, Joe, New Haven's got a lot of speed on the back end, and everybody was covered. So good defensive sequence that time for New Haven.
Third down and 10 last week at Garrett. Barons were 3 of 7 for 43% on third down chances. Eschbach gives ground, steps up in the pocket, throws on the middle, knocked away. Great defensive play, reaching in there. That was a good move that time, and getting a hand on that ball.
Yeah, Najah Fields Lewis, Joe, and we talked about him in the pregame too. And what I like about that, Joe, was he took that right arm and didn't wrap it around the receiver, so he just led with the left arm and batted that ball away. So, I mean, that is great defense for New Haven, and New Haven has got some skilled players on the back end.
Joe, that's 2 series now where the Bulldogs defense, especially their pass defense, has really risen to the challenge.
Yeah, it really has.
DeKalb now to punt it away. It'll come from the 37. Tailing ball to the far side, and that one is off the side of the foot. Evan Snyder, let's see where they're going to line it up. Official will move it up across the 25, still moving up to the 30. And that's where they'll say New Haven football at the Bulldog 30-yard line. First and 10 with 5:43 remaining still in this opening quarter, no score.
You know, last year New Haven got off to a slow start, but they were able to win this game 28-21, and it kind of helped Jimmy Lynn get a little bit of momentum last season. But this is another big game, because if you lose tonight, if you're New Haven, Joe, all of a sudden you're 0-3, and there's so many teams that haven't lost yet in the NE8.
Empty backfield now. No, check it. It is Williams. He was under center for a moment. Does have a running back lined up behind. Looks to hand it off. Here's a little keeper play. Williams off to the left side. Turns the corner. 40, 45. Blocker in front. 45, 40, 35-yard line. Tripped up and out of bounds deep into DeKalb territory. Inside the 30 all the way down to the 29-yard line goes Jakar Williams.
And that's what makes him special, Joe. Jakar Williams has the ability to plant the back leg and throw it, but he also has the ability to run out of the spread offense. They list him as 6'3", 215. I thought he was as big as me when I saw him, down in the field before the game, but he has tremendous potential at that quarterback position.
And very good at deceiving. Now a scoring opportunity for the Bulldogs. They'll look to hand it off. No, it's a pass. Again, Hutchins fights off one tackle, works to the 25, to the 20, all the way down inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. So Hutchins with a great move. Jamar Hutchins did not look like he had a lot there, and he does pick up the first down, and the Bulldogs now knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's tough to defend that because it's a play-action pass, and it's just a little quick pass to the flat, and Hutchins can gather that ball up and get downfield so fast.
Jakar Williams barking out the signals, now turns away, still 16 on the play clock. Clock stopped with 5:22 remaining, and they're going to change the play call at the line of scrimmage. Now we're down to 8. We're down to 7. Williams again. Jakar Williams looking. Screens the ball. Again to the flats right side. Here's Hutchins. Got a block at the 10. At the 5. Fighting for the goal line. Did he reach across? Touchdown! New Haven, just like last week, on the board on a 16-yard touchdown pass play. Jakar Williams and finding the elusive Jamar Hutchins.
That was the best drive of the year for New Haven, and you can see the confidence of Jakar Williams on that drive. You see Jakar Williams run it, you see Jakar Williams throw it, and on that last play, Joe, that's an audible out of your sophomore quarterback to make that play. That's what Coach Jimmy Lynn needs to get New Haven going. Best drive of the year.
Now the try for extra point is on the way. Penalty flag is thrown. Kick was good, but let's see if it's going to stand up before we take the break. See if E.J. Carroll's going to bring him back out there. And it was procedure against New Haven, so they'll have to try again.
And those extra points are so important. You don't want to make those mistakes on the penalty. But how about Jakar Williams, though, Joe, on that drive? And we talked about him pregame. Sophomore quarterback, you're trying to feel your way. You're trying to gain the confidence of the older teammates, and you need to make those plays. That was a great drive. And sometimes as a quarterback, not so much yours truly, but sometimes as a quarterback, a big run gets you going.
And you know, Joe, the other side of it, too, is if you're a young quarterback, you don't want to screw up. But sometimes when you focus on the negative, that cost it. From the 15 now, left-footed kick is long, and Sowers hits it again. So Braden Sowers will make it a 7-0 ball game. We have a timeout here at New Haven. 7-0 Bulldogs in the early lead. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Contributing sponsors making tonight's broadcast possible include Kelly Automotive Group, 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned, Tom Steele Tire, 2 locations in Fort Wayne, and Big Eyed Fish, with the best fish in Fort Wayne.
I could go for some of that fish about
I hear
now.
you, brother. Here we go, kick us away. And again, fielded inside the 10, far side. Run across the hash mark. This time New Haven shuts it down right around the 20-yard line. That's where DeKalb goes back on offense, 1st and 10, but trailing 7-0.
You know, the slow start for DeKalb. And if I'm DeKalb, my message to the quarterback, Evan Eschbach, is don't try to do it all yourself. Use your weapons, make good decisions. And I also think that's the message for the sophomore quarterback, Jakar Williams. You got to remember when you play the quarterback position, you have so much talent around you. Just keep in mind, you just want to distribute that football.
Other games going on tonight in the Northeast 8, Columbia City at Huntington North. Leo plays at Norwell. Both those teams 2-0. Big log jam right at the top of the Northeast 8 going into week 3, but it's the first night of conference play. Here's a cut up the middle into the second level, and it will be Tanner Jacket. No, check it, that's Landon.
Yeah, Landon Miller that time, Joe. We talked about him in the pregame, too. 24 carries, 165 yards, 7 yards a carry. And I tell you what, DeKalb's had a lot of success, Joe, running between the tackles. And I think right now, if I'm Coach Kemp, I stick with that formula.
Well, the man wasn't predicting rain, but I believe we're getting some showers right now here at John Young Stadium. Some of the umbrellas starting to go up. So that'll be 1st and 10. DeKalb at their own 36. Eschbach, pistol alignment again. Wing back to the right. Play action, does hand it off. They find a hole, and backpedaling up to about the 44-yard line. The ball carrier will pick up another 7 yards.
And that Landon Miller runs hard, Joe. 5'10", 175, the senior, good vision, and I like that one cut and go. DeKalb likes that zone blocking scheme. They've had a lot of success with it. But I tell you, speaking of the NE8, that's a big game with Norwell and Leo. A lot of people knew Leo would be better, but I think so far Norwell and their scores have been one of the surprise team in the areas.
Tanner Huff in, one of the wide for the Barons to the right side. And here is Eschbach. Floats the ball up. That's Huff made the catch, had to go high for it. Does hold on at the 49. That'll be good for a first down. Tanner Huff had one catch last week, good for 19 yards, and that one was good for a touchdown a week ago.
Yeah, it's a nice catch out there because you have to be patient and wait on that ball. It was a good close by Howard Chandler for New Haven to close down on that, but that's your quick passing game. And if I'm DeKalb, that's what I'm sticking with. I just want to run those quick passes and attack, and I want to get back to my power rushing game off tackle.
Barron's just a yard short of midfield now. They'll work from the right side hash mark. Eschbach hands the ball off. Here's Miller this time struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he does, but just that.
Yeah, and that's good defense. And I tell you, that time, we talk about the linebacker, DeAndre Wright getting in there, but that time Chandler Zimmerman from the outside linebacker got in the backfield so fast, and that's what New Haven needs. When I was breaking the game down, Joe, I didn't see any sacks, and I saw very few tackles for loss for New Haven so far this year. So with your defense, you need more penetration, more disruption up front.
Zacharias is lone wide to the left side. Again, onto the outside, the corners for New Haven up in press coverage. Second down and 10. Eschbach looks, hands it off. And off tackle play, run to the right side. And Miller just broke 2 tackles and will gain to the New Haven 43-yard line. But you got to wrap up, and you've got to make that tackle.
Yeah, and that's a nice job out there by the offensive guard for DeKalb, number 56. Hoyt Stafford, to get that block. And how about Miller's patience, Joe? A lot of times as running backs, you have to be patient and let those holes open up. And Miller shows you what a good back he is, because if you don't wrap him up, he's not going to go down. So New Haven has got to hit him low and wrap him up. A good back is going to run through those high tackles.
Barron's trying to reach the 41. They've got 3rd down and 2 coming up. And now with 5 on the play clock, let's see if they're going to take a timeout. They will. So Pete Kemp wants to make sure of the call. His team trails 7-0 here on the road. 2:54 remains in the opening quarter. Bulldogs by 7. We'll be back IHSAA football right here on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket.
We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to Parkview Sports Medicine.
Well, we hope you're enjoying tonight's game on SummitCitySports.com. You can locate them on Twitter at 260 Sports. Sponsors also include LS Tech, a Mexican restaurant, and Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning. 3rd down and short. Big call coming up both sides of the ball. New Haven 7-0 here with under 3 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Shotgun formation now. Evan Eschbach, the senior quarterback for the Barons. Long count from the line of scrimmage, trying to draw the Bulldogs off. They'll hand the ball off, and the Bulldogs stop it for a loss back outside the 45.
And how about Trevor Reed that time, number 44, the outside linebacker for New Haven, getting back there and blowing that play up, and DeAndre Wright cleans it up. So, wow, we knew New Haven had some problems against the run last week. They're starting to get it cleaned up, Joe, and fill those holes. So now a big gamble here for DeKalb. And if I'm DeKalb, I'd be real tempted to put the ball in the air to Easton Rhodes this time.
It'll be 4th down and 5 with the ball just outside the 45-yard line of the Bulldogs. DeKalb trying to reach the 41. They're going to gamble and go for it on 4th down. Eschbach looking and does run the ball. Here's Miller. Miller has got the first down as he spun right at the 42. Well, let's depend on the spot.
Oh, he got a poor spot. I thought he got the first down, and that shows the belief that Coach Kemp has in his offensive line to run the football. But
Joe, where they put the football down is different from where the
where they put it down.
Marked.
He's going to have that first down where they put it down. And I thought he had it, Joe. I thought he laid out and got across the markers.
Well, they are going to bring the chains out, and I appreciate that by the officials. So, it's a big game, first conference game in the Northeast 8. They want to make sure they got it right.
And ran behind Tyson Conley that time, the offensive tackle, 6'3", 265. And Conley just fires off the ball, and I think he got enough of a push that DeKalb's going to have this first down by about half a football, Joe.
Joe, other games going on tonight in the SAC. It is 2-0 Snyder playing at Concordia.
Oh, my gosh.
He didn't get it on the measurement?
Oh, he got it. Yeah, got it by his credit card.
Other games, Homestead hosting Bishop Luers. And number 3 ranked Dwenger, they're at Southside tonight. Northrop hosting Wayne. Will be at Wayne Stadium next Friday night. Carroll traveling to Northside. In the ACAC, it's Woodland playing at Heritage. Both those teams 0-2.
Yeah, a lot of big games. I'm curious to see how Wayne responds. I was surprised Wayne's 0-2 already, and Wayne's going to love playing on that turf. But let's see if Northrop can get a little bit of momentum in that game, Joe. I think obviously Dwanger's going to roll south. It'll be interesting to see how Snyder handles Concordia after that emotional win over Carroll, and let's see how Carroll responds against Northside. So good matchups, and can Bishop Lure slow down Luke Goody and Homestead tonight?
Barron's going to stay in that power line of just one wide, and there was movement very decisively across the line of scrimmage defensively, so that may bring up 1st and 5.
And if you're a defensive player, you got to watch the football. You can't make those mistakes, and that's when you get tired on a drive and you make those mistakes, and that's what hurt New Haven. We talked about in the pregame.
Can't guess, can you?
You can't guess, and don't beat yourself. You know, DeKalb gets a big first down. All of a sudden, we jump off sides. And if I'm DeKalb, I would attack here. It's a great time for a play-action pass.
Tanner Huff alone wide to the left side. 2 tight ends off the left side for the Barons. Or option run to the right. They pooch the ball. That's fumbled away, scrambled. New Haven's got it at their own 35.
Well, that should be an incomplete pass. That's a Colorado shovel pass. And
I believe you're right, Joe.
Yeah, that should be an incomplete pass. It looks like a fumble the way that play got blown up, but that's an incomplete pass. And you know what? I'm going to be critical now. I don't like that play. You know, you're having success running off tackle, and now you're going to try to push the ball forward in the middle of the line, not with DeAndre Wright out there. I get back and I run my power game off tackle, Joe. That's going to be an incomplete pass.
So it will be 2nd down and 5 with the ball at the New Haven 36-yard line.
I used to hate that play. They used to call that play when I played. And I didn't know whether to flip it or underhand it or what. I'm like, can't we just throw it? I hate it. It was the Colorado shovel pass, and it was all these names. I always hated that play.
Huff this time splits wide to the right side. Zacharias up on the slot to the right side as well. Eschbach looks to Miller. Miller off tackle left side, and he's got the first down again as he battles down to the Bulldog 30-yard line. They'll move the chains again.
And that's DeKalb football right there. And Tyler Pomeroy, the left guard, did you see him flatten his guy and put him on the turf? That's DeKalb Barron football. Let's line up with the good back in Miller, and let's run right at New Haven off tackle, and let's use our strength. We don't need that little shovel pass. Let's play power football. Let's play Bishop Dwenger ISO football, and let's run behind that offensive line for DeKalb.
1st and 10, Barron's on the move at the Bulldog 30-yard line. Eschbach again, looking for the snap and looks to hand it off, and he'll trying to run. Miller steps out of one tackle and then lowers the shoulder, got it down inside the 27. And the Bulldogs have had some chances again, one-on-one against Miller, but he's tough to bring down.
Yeah, and you always mention it, Joe. It's so important for those corners to come in on run support. Howard Chandler that time, a good corner, came up and had the first shot at Miller, and he's got to wrap him up and make that tackle. But you're seeing what a good back Miller is, Joe.
We will head to the end of the first quarter. 7-0 Bulldogs on top, but DeKalb threatening when we return to John Young Stadium. This is IHSAA football right here on Fox Sports 1250, The Ticket. 1 minute, sir, 1 minute. With Joe Auburn, I'm Joe Parson. Tommy Norris with us again tonight as it'll be Barron's football at the Bulldog 27, moving now from right to left. They'll stay with that power lineup. One wide to the left side. That, again, is going to be Tanner Huff, Eschbach. Looking again on the read option. Hands it off. And finally, they'll hand that ball. Tanner Jack is back in there as the running back and gains about a yard, maybe a couple of yards down close to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Tommy made a good point. Tommy talked about New Haven just needs to tackle better, Joe. They're in the right places. You got to tackle better. So that time, DeKalb comes back with the big back, Jack, but New Haven gets him on the ground. So now it sets up a really big third down play here. It'll be interesting if DeKalb runs off tackle again or works that play action game.
Third down and 5. See, Barron's going to take Dominic Blevins in. Meanwhile, Eschbach now out of the shotgun. He'll roll to the left side. Looking's got some running room. Cuts it out to the 20-yard line. Being strung out, though, by the Bulldogs. And so he'll beat to the 20. That's close to the first down.
It's going to be close. And Eschbach that time, Joe, he's got to know where that marker is. He's just got to put his head down and get that first down. They could be about a yard short, Joe, and I thought that play had a chance to have a bigger gain. I like the play call, but Eschbach has to be more decisive when he runs that football, and you got to plant that outside leg and get upfield because now it's going to be a big fourth down play.
Fourth down and a yard. They spot it at the Bulldog 21-yard line. Early moments of the second quarter, 7-0 New Haven. Blevins in, he's tight to the right side. Eschbach looking to Miller. Miller off tackle, cuts it up. Did he get there? Spun, I don't know. Looks like he's short by that, maybe a half a yard. It depends on the spot.
I'd say that's great penetration again by Chandler Zimmerman. We'll see what kind of spot he gets. I think he's short, Joe. That was a heck of the penetration of New Haven to break that play down. So, and that would be huge for the New Haven defense. I think he's short, Joe.
No indication yet. And now they do say it'll be New Haven's football with the fourth down stop.
How about that? Last week, they gave up 288 yards rushing. They get a big stop there. So now you're starting to see, Coach Lynn's feeling better about his defense coming together and getting more penetration. So a big fourth down stop. And now if I'm New Haven, I tell Jakar Williams, just play within yourself and work with your weapons.
Looks like maybe Jarrell Jackson has come in. And look, they're going to run the ball, but not much there. Here's Jakar Williams spins off a tackle, does get back close to the line of scrimmage. Maybe he is going to lose about a yard and a half. That looked like a problem right from the handoff.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Wright saying, you going to give it to me or what? And Jakar Williams better tuck that football away. It looked like a loaf of bread out there the way he was carrying that, and that's what got him in trouble last week. So, okay, you're off to a good start, but don't get lackadaisical with that football.
Too wide to the left side, a loss of 1. Second down, 11 clock inside of 10 minutes remaining first half. Pitch comes to the right side. Here's a quick hitting play, not much there. Gain is only out to about the 22 or 23-yard line.
Now I'm going to be a little bit critical, and keep in mind, as a head coach, I was 2-7 last year of flag football with the kindergartners, so keep that in mind, but I don't like that play. If I'm going to run that pitch with DeAndre Wright all the speed, run that play to the wide side. Give your back more room to work and attack DeKalb more on the edge if you're New Haven.
Third down and 8. Bulldogs trying to reach their own 31-yard line. Now Williams again might be changing the play call. Still 14 on the play clock. DeAndre Wright, they flip-flop him now to the left of Jakar Williams. He'll roll to the left side, looking to throw on the run, and this one missed his receiver out there trying to find Hutchins. Jamar Hutchins had a bit of an angle running the up-and-out pattern.
Hutchins was open, and that's where Jakar Williams is so raw. You're going to have to work with him on that. It's so hard to throw back across your body, rolling to the left. On that play, when it's a deep flag route like that, Joe, he needs to set his feet and deliver that football. On the deeper routes, you have the time to set your feet and point those shoulders and deliver a good football. That's something that he'll learn as he plays the position more.
Chandler in to punt for the Bulldogs now. Waits at the New Haven 10. Comes the snap. Now he's going to run with it. And he's got to get out to the 31, and he's got a first down. 35, 40, 45 midfield at the 40-yard line. Down the left sidelines. Did he step out of bounds? He did. Otherwise, he is to the house.
How about that? A little bit of trickery for Coach Lynn, but I like it. You know, you have a senior punter who's athletic back there. Roll the dice. Show the kids you really want to win this game and gamble a little bit. And how about the speed of Chandler to run away? So that's a huge play, Joe, and bookmark that play because now an opportunity. New Haven can go down and cash in on this play. That's tremendous momentum. So I love it with Coach Lynn. Hats off to gamble with your kids.
So they have a fourth down stop and now a fourth down gamble and at the 37-yard line. Here's a screen coming near side. That ball is caught. Run to the 35, Lane Wood, and he gains down to the 22-yard line before stepping in bound. Lane Woodson, I'll tell you what, that pass scared me, though, Joe.
I thought he was throwing it to number 3, Lamar Hutchins, and at the last second, you know, Williams shows you his ability to deal it, Joe. He throws it over Hutchins' head to Woodson.
It's a good thing because DeKalb was right there in the pattern.
I thought it was going to be a pick six if he was going to throw it to Hutchins, so good recognition by Williams, and he shows you that athletic ability on that play.
Bulldogs at the 22 now, and they'll look to DeAndre Wright. No, it's a keeper play. And Jakar Williams to the 21.
That's Landon Miller coming up from the linebacker position for DeKalb. Great recognition by Landon Miller to stay home and make that tackle on Williams because if he doesn't make that tackle, I think Williams could have got to the end zone on that play, Joe.
Last week, DeAndre Wright had 17 carries, 75 yards. Now there was movement at the line of scrimmage. This one may go against the Barons.
Yeah, you don't see that. DeKalb's usually pretty disciplined, but that time they got caught off sides, and it was Nate Turnbull that bid on that. Nate Turnbull's a good defensive player, 5'9", 235, the senior, a defensive lineman for DeKalb, but that'll drive the coaches nuts, Joe, because Turnbull's lined up right over the football, and you're always told, watch the ball if you're on defense.
They'll spot it just outside the DeKalb 16-yard line now. It'll be second down and 4. Here's Williams, looks, throws right, the ball dropped. In and out of the hands of Lane Woodson, who had 5 catches last week. Averaged over 9 yards a carry, had a touchdown, but that one had a lot of heat on it, could not control it.
Yeah, he did. Woodson's a heck of a football player, but he's got to catch that ball. And the reason Williams had to put some mustard on that is that's a quick hook to the short side. He's got to be on time and fit that ball in there. And speaking of being on time, John Barnes did a great job for Snyder last week with that.
Here's Wright off tackle. He's got some running room. Brings it inside the 10 to the 5. DeAndre Wright running hard. It'll be first and goal. Bulldogs still on top 7-0 and trying to add more.
That's a nice play, and now you're beginning to see what Coach Lynn really envisioned with this New Haven offense, Joe. Quick passes, Williams a threat running the ball, and then a big, strong back with Wright that can run off tackle. So now you're starting to see this New Haven offense come together.
Lamar Hutchins and Lane Winson off to the right side, 2 wide to the left, 1 back look. And here is Wright again, continues on and dives for the end zone, touchdown. DeAndre Wright would not be denied. They had him wrapped up at the 3, but he broke the tackle. And a 5-yard touchdown for New Haven. They'll lead it 13-0.
6'1", 220, the junior, and nothing there, but he just runs through tackles, and that's just the heart and the will of DeAndre Wright. We talked about him in the pregame as a sophomore, Joe. 88 tackles from the linebacker position. They love the fact that he can go both ways and also play in the backfield, and you saw that toughness there for a big touchdown run.
Now the left-footed extra point kick is on the way. Looks good, is good. 14-0 Bulldogs here at home at John Young Stadium, and we'll be back. This is IHSAA football right here on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Bulldogs enjoying some rarefied air here. They are up in an Northeast 8 conference game, 14-0 on undefeated DeKalb. By the way, coming up by halftime, our Indiana-Michigan Power halftime show. Young lady by the name of Katrina Walburn will join us. She'll preview the annual Fort Wayne Art Show, and coming up this weekend at Jefferson Point.
I know her.
A little bit, huh? She's real excited about the 40-plus artists coming out, and jewelry on display, great music.
Yes.
Going to be a great weekend.
So much talent out there on display.
Here comes the kick now. Left-footed kick, going to be short. That'll be fielded at the 19-yard line. Straight ahead, carry across the 30, up to the 35, and still more. Up to about the 37 is where the Barons will start on offense first and turn, as Caleb Nixon gets them in pretty good field position to start this drive.
Couple scores to pass along, and if you're watching this on the Summit City Sports platform, it's awesome when you can kind of bump around to different games and pop in and see the scores. But really, so far early on, Joe, Snyder 14, Concordia nothing. So Snyder, staying strong after that big physical win with Carroll. No look ahead against Concordia. And how about Wayne? Wayne 13-7 over Northrop, and that's a game that Wayne desperately needs.
Wideouts, one each way. Zacharias to the left, Tanner Huff to the right. Eschbach down 14-0. They'll run the ball up the middle. Here's a hard-nosed run again for about 15. And was there a face mask in there? Gain is out across the 41 to about the 42.
I thought there was, but I think maybe he just grabbed his shoulder pads. But now it's going to be interesting. Let's see if DeKalb stays patient with their run game, Joe. Now they're down 14-0. New Haven's feeling good. They can really attack. Will DeKalb stay patient with their run game? They need to, because that's where they've had the success in the first half.
Deshaun Morgan on the stop, had 7 tackles, 1 for loss last week in the loss to Mississinawa. Gain of 6, second down and 4. Eschbach with wide to the left, hands the ball, and here's a run after. That's Tanner Jack. Jack able to get free and picks up the first down, brings it just short of, well, let's see, they may mark it a yard deep into New Haven territory at the 49.
And that's all night long for DeKalb, and Tanner Jack is a little bit bigger, plants the outside leg and drives ahead. And if I'm DeKalb, I stick with that run game and get back in this game. So, and I think later on, New Haven's got a lot of kids that go both ways, Joe. I think later on in the game, that could really wear New Haven out.
Barons now into Bulldog territory, 1st and 10. Eschbach again out of that pistol lineman, looks to run it again. There's a cut up the middle nicely by Jack. Tanner Jack to the 45. They'll give him another yard and a half inside the 44.
Yeah, and that's Josh Grigsby that makes the tackle, 6'2", 240. The defensive tackle for New Haven. He's a heck of a football player too, but you see Jack, the ability to read those blocks, Joe, and always to get that positive yards. And when DeKalb can stay in that 2nd and 5, they're so much more effective with their offense.
Easton Rhodes in. He's wide to the right side. He's got some company out there as well. Eschbach has been running the ball, wants to throw here. Throws to a spot, he's got a man. That one nearly intercepted. Played very well by New Haven. And Joe, I want to say something about this Bulldogs defense. They've kind of had a bend, don't break philosophy so far in this first half, as Nigel Fields Lewis came up and nearly had the 2nd interception of the night for the Dogs.
Yeah, they've gotten the plays when they needed it, and that's a great read from the safety position of Lewis to come up and break that ball up, because I thought Eschbach had Rhodes on that, but that's a heck of a defensive play for New Haven, and now a huge 3rd down here for DeKalb, Joe.
Barron's trying to reach the New Haven 39 on this snap. Eschbach again, waits, looks, play action fake, gives to Miller. And Miller fighting, he's got the first down on 2nd effort. Broke a tackle at the 41. Well, let's see. Now, did he get there?
It's going to be close. I thought New Haven had him maybe stopped right at the marker.
Just outside the 39.
Yeah, Miller really pushed forward to get up there to get close. It's going to be 4th and maybe half a yard. And New Haven had him in the backfield and missed the tackle, but big play here again for DeKalb. Need to convert this 4th down. If I was DeKalb, I would just quarterback sneak it here.
In too wide to the short side for the Barons. Eschbach, with a running back lined up behind him, looks to Miller. Miller up the middle, 2nd effort, and still on his feet inside the 35 down to the 30-yard line, and still more down. Finally bumped out of bounds, just would not go down until he reached close to the 26-yard line.
And they ran behind Hoyt Stafford that time, 6'4", 260. The senior, a phenomenal prospect, Joe. And DeKalb with Coach Kemp have really emphasized the weight room work, and DeKalb is much stronger and much physical. And if I'm DeKalb, I just keep this ball on the ground.
Clock at 5:36, time remaining second quarter. 14-0 New Haven, but knocking on the door now. The Barons getting closer. Eschbach read option and hands it off, and it'll be running. And all the way down to the 10-yard line. There was great deception on that play.
Yeah, and that's great ball handling by DeKalb to get that play. And again, that's Miller just running downhill, and Landon Miller came in averaging 7 yards a carry. He's having a big first half. But how important is it for DeKalb now, Joe, to really cash in and get a touchdown on this drive?
First and goal at the 10, and they'll bring Tanner Jacknack back in as the running back. Lined up behind Eschbach. Evan Eschbach looks again to hand it off. Keeps it himself, rolls to the right, is at the 5, and he will score. Evan Eschbach rolling around the right side, fake the handoff. 10-yard run by Eschbach at 5 carries, 17 yards, and gets into the end zone at the 5:06 mark to cut the lead in half.
Good teams answer, and that time DeKalb answered, and they did it with their staple, the power rushing attack. So that time you see that DeKalb offensive line just dominate the game. And if I'm Coach Kemp, I really keep it that simple tonight. I run between the tackles, but a good read by Eschbach to get the touchdown, and a huge touchdown there for DeKalb.
Zacharias 3 for 3 last week on extra point conversions. Kick is up and on the way. It is good. And we will step out. 14-7. Barons on the board, but New Haven still up by 7. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. One will go out of bounds. It'll be a penalty. So the Bulldogs can take it up around the 35, I believe.
Yeah, and that's the respect for Najah Fields-Lewis back there for New Haven. He's an explosive returner. And Coach Kemp and DeKalb is trying to be so careful, Joe, that sometimes you just outthink yourself and you put yourself in a tough situation. So good field position for New Haven and the chance to really attack.
Okay, play coach for a minute now for me. Would you be tempted to make them kick again from 5 yards deeper?
I would be, because I know the explosiveness that you have in Lewis, and New Haven has so many weapons in the open field, so it would be tempting, but also good field position. That's one thing that's helped New Haven tonight. They've had really good field position for the young quarterback, where last week with Mississinawa, they really had some tough field position.
Williams Young, sophomore quarterback, in there now, and there's a penalty flag thrown. It's going to be procedure against New Haven.
That's penalty number 5, and
I don't think they had 7 men up the line of scrimmage, Joe, perhaps.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Lynn, I like the first half. I like the way my defense is done. It's held up pretty good against the run. My offense has been explosive. It's these small mental errors that are really hurting New Haven. Killed them last week, and you're not going to be able to get away with this in the second half against a good football team.
Spread offense once again for New Haven, 2 wide either side, but now it's first down and 15 with the ball back at the 30-yard line. Here's a pitch coming to the left and nothing there. They'll reverse, and boy, DeKalb is going to eat that up with a loss back around the 20-yard line.
Yeah, now I'll tell you what, that I thought he had a chance to reverse the field, but DeKalb did a great job to slow that play up, Joe. So how about the defense that time out there for DeKalb? And discipline. You have to stay disciplined if you're DeKalb out there.
Pitch came to Fields Lewis, and normally you want to get him into space, but DeKalb played that one defensively very well. Second down and even longer. Now 2nd and 22. Bulldogs would have to get out to their own 45 on this series. Second down snap coming, and now the officials going to call for a timeout. And it's DeKalb that'll take the stoppage here. So with 4:22 remaining until halftime, 14-7, New Haven on top, but second and long coming up. When we return to John Young Stadium, this is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. .233, a man tackle to tackle. Andrew Faulkner at center, Stephen Pori and Raymond Berth the guards. Josh Grigsby, a two-way player, senior, 240, and Deshaun Morgan, ditto, 230, a senior, and 6'2". They are at the tackle positions. Second down and long. Williams with 2 wide again, either side of the field. They spread things out. Now he backs up out of the shotgun formation. Still 13 on the play clock. Here's the snap. Williams to throw. Pump fake. Now throws the fade down. He's got a man wide open downfield. Ball is underthrown and incomplete, in and out of the hands of the would-be receiver at about the 44-yard line. That's a play that, boy, was that Hutchins down there? Let's see.
Looked like Hutchins. It was Carter Miller on the coverage for DeKalb, the senior, number 8. And, oh, boy, was he beaten, and he recovered. And that's where the young quarterbacks just got to get that football out there. Now, with no safety in the middle of the field, Joe, you can bring them back in the middle of the field, but you got to get that football out there because New Haven had the wide receiver wide open on that play, and DeKalb was lucky to get away with that.
That was Jamar Hutchins, and the ball was underthrown. He had to come back and wait for it, and that allowed DeKalb to rally. Now third down and long. Shotgun formation again. Williams, short drop, looking, dances, steps up, throws in the middle, incomplete, nobody home. That one over, looking for Hutchins once again, and a little deep crossing pattern. He was open at the 45. That would have been a first down.
Yeah, he was open, and what Jakar Williams has to do, he was getting happy feet that time. He has to plant that back leg, Joe, and deliver that football. Sometimes when you're in the pocket, you know, in your mind, that timer goes off. That was great pass protection, and Williams needs to step into that throw and stick it on Hutchins. So that penalty hurt New Haven on that possession, Joe, and now DeKalb has a chance for some good field position before the half.
Howard Chandler into the punt, waits back at the 9-yard line. I believe that's Easton Rhodes in punt return. The whistle's blew right at the snap. Clock at 4:10. E.J. Carroll, another procedure call against New Haven.
And that's going to drive Jimmy Lynn nuts because that's going to back him up more. You don't want to give DeKalb the short field because with only 4 minutes left, a short field allows them to run the ball. If you can get the field position flipped, it kind of takes away DeKalb's ability to run the ball because there's not a lot of time left before the half.
Now Chandler waits for the snap inside the 5, back around the 2-yard line. Needs a good delivery to him. Low ball, picks it off the turf. Kick is away, low line drive, bounding ball. That'll be field. They're taken by Easton, gets away from one, but now the Bulldogs are in mass to knock him down at the DeKalb 49-yard line.
And Easton rolls the dice, but that's the right decision. If I'm Coach Kemp, I'm saying that'll boy Easton, because if he doesn't pick that ball up, Joe, it can roll 10, 15 yards, and you're going to get smacked or tattooed when you pick it up like that. But he makes the right choice, and he saves in the field position, because with 4 minutes left, it's kind of hard to get down the field with that power rushing attack, but at the 50-yard line, you have a chance. So that's gutsy, and that's courage by Easton to catch that football.
And remember, DeKalb has used 2 timeouts already.
Yes.
They have one only remaining.
That's why it's so important for DeKalb to have some good field position on that.
Now E.J. Carroll's coming over with some kind of indication.
That's a huge penalty. It's going to be a personal foul, face mask on New Haven, and that is just devastating. And I tell you, New Haven's played well in the first half, but Coach Lynn's going to be nuts at halftime, because now DeKalb's going to get the ball all the way down. New Haven's, 35, Joe? That's a huge penalty, and it opens up DeKalb's playbook to really attack New Haven, and those are the mistakes you just can't make, Joe. I mean, and Coach Lynn's a good football coach, and you got to be disciplined not to make those mistakes.
Well, they only moved the ball to the 45.
Okay, maybe it was, an incidental. I don't know, but still, that's good field position for DeKalb, and you just can't give them those yards.
Bulldogs with just one safety, but now check it now, 2 back. As Eschbach is in there, 1st and 10 at the New Haven 45. Barron's down 7. Read option again. And up the middle goes Landon Miller, and just a diesel engine picks up 10 down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line.
Dragging Deshaun Morgan, it finally brought him down, and New Haven plays, Joe, that 3-4 defense, but at some point you're going to have to roll out of that, Joe, and get into a 5-man front or get some more guys at the point of attack.
Tyler Pomeroy was slow getting up, but so is the Bulldogs, still down on bended knee. So we're going to have an injury timeout here with 3:52 remaining in this first half. So we have a stoppage of play. This injury timeout brought to you by Parkview Sports Medicine, a winning combination with the IHSAA. And we'll be back. IHSAA football on Fox Sports, 12:50 the ticket. We may get you another one. We'll see. I would say you're good for a second 30.
It's Josh Grigsby.
Miller with the ball.
Back and a DeKalb touchdown. The deep handoff to Landon Miller, and he was off to the races, working off tackle. The left side goes 34 yards. And a tying touchdown pending the conversion here at the 3:35 mark.
And the injury to the New Haven defensive lineman Josh Grigsby really hurt them, and that allowed DeKalb to use that offensive line and run downhill. And how about that run by Landon Miller? One cut and into the end zone. And that DeKalb offensive line is really taking control of this football game, Joe.
Zacharias on for the tie now. Waiting for the snap. Hold is good. Kick is long enough on the way, and we are tied. 3:35 remaining here until intermission. 14-14 tie. Stoppage down below. We'll be back. This is IHSAA football here on Fox Sports, 1250 the ticket. DeKalb has scored the last 14 points in this ball game. We have a new game, a new tie.
And can you say adversity? Let's see how New Haven responds to it.
Kick coming near side. That's fielded at the 10. Run across the 15, 20, 25, 30. Some running room off the left side. And it'll be Hutchins all the way up to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10.
And if it wasn't for Caleb Nixon for DeKalb making that tackle, I thought Hutchins was going to take that ball to the house. New Haven was fortunate at that time because there was a clip on that play that wasn't called, but good field position for New Haven. And let's see if they can get off to a fast start here, Joe.
Joe, I want to correct it. It was Nigel Fields-Lewis on the kick return. So 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 35.
This is a big drive for momentum for New Haven. You'd like to put some points on before you go to the locker room.
Bulldogs have got their full complement of timeouts left, I believe. Here's a read option, a roll to the right side by Williams. Got a block. 35 up to the 40, 41. As he's tackled down by Landon Miller. That'll be a gain of about 6.
I like that play because Williams is really comfortable running the option, and he's so big to bring down, Joe. I like that play. That's a nice play for New Haven.
Nose of the football just outside the Bulldog 41, so improving field position now for New Haven. Trying to break the 14-14 tie. Shotgun formation once again. Again, the read option. Here's a screen near side. Fields-Lewis going nowhere.
Again, I hate that play to the short side, Joe. First of all, it's tough to catch that ball because Williams is zipping it, and there's nowhere to go with Fields-Lewis, and Fields-Lewis has so much speed. Run that play to the wide side so you at least give Lewis the chance to make a play, but good defense by DeKalb, but the sideline's their friend, and there's nowhere for Lewis to go on that.
Loss is all the way back to the New Haven 37, so they'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Bulldogs trying to reach their 45 on this snap. Williams looks the throw near side. Ball off the fingertips, incomplete at the 46.
And Woodson's got to make that catch. He's a good football player, and that ball's on time by Williams. That's the perfect read, and Woodson's too good to drop that ball out there, Joe, and also it stops the clock. So maybe a chance for DeKalb. If DeKalb can get a good play on special teams, maybe a chance for DeKalb to attack again.
Chandler in to punt, had one last week just for 24 yards. On this artificial surface, his low line drives have paid dividends. Looks, kicks it away, this time a little higher, but off the side of his foot. Hits into DeKalb territory, bounds inside the 40, still rolling to the 35, and finally touched at the 34 with 2:04 remaining here in the first half. And now the Barons have a chance to take their first lead of the night.
Now, if I'm Coach Lynn here, I gamble. I get out of that 3-4, Joe. I get into a 5-2, or I bring those outside linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, because right now DeKalb's just mauling that defensive line, and you lost Grigsby with the injury for New Haven. So if I'm New Haven, I got to get more guys at the point of attack and try to slow down that run game.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 34-yard line. Joe gets ready to make his way down to field level. New Haven making a late substitution. Eschbach now, he's got a bunch lined up to his left and out of that motion back to the right side. Look to hand it off, and run that time by Corey Price. Gets the call. He had 2 carries last week, scored a touchdown off of 27 yards gained, and on this carry across the 40, though they'll mark it right at the 40, that'll be a pickup of about 6. Remember, DeKalb just 1 timeout remaining. Now they hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Tight end tight to the right side. A bunch line up. Empty backfield with 4 wide to the left for Eschbach. Got Price in motion once again from left to right. Lines up in the 1-back position. They'll hand the ball to him, and knocked down at the 40, but rolls forward across the 41. And it'll bring up 3rd down and still about 3, let's call it. No huddle virtually by the Barons. Aware of the clock, now approaching 1 minute time remaining. They stay in that same set with 4 wide to the left. And motion out of it again. Here's a screen coming. Price has got it, drop the ball. So they'll bring up 4th down now with under a minute. And now you've got a decision if you're Peyton Kemp. And they've made that decision. They will punt the ball away. They don't want to take any chances. Remember, New Haven won the toss, deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half. But New Haven now will have Fields Lewis back in punt return. Evan Snyder waits at the 27, steps into it, got a lot of leg into this one. That's fielded at the 20, running wide to the right side. Fields Lewis and gets a block. He's at the 35, at the 40, turns the corner, 50, 40, 35, down to the knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So New Haven, with the speed and elusiveness of Nijay Fields Lewis, they've got a chance with 45 seconds remaining in this first half to go on top here at home in this 14-all tie. Great run, and you can see why Pete Kemp was trying to keep the ball away from him, but not that time. 1st and 10 Bulldogs. They've got it at the 25. Or did he step out of bounds back around the 30? They're going to move the ball back. It still is very good field position for the Bulldogs. Moving from left to right. They've not yet marked the ball ready for play. Now E.J. Carroll, referee, gets set, and we will play football now. Now they change the play call once again. Game clock has not started. Play clock is down to 14. Jakar Williams gets ready once again. He's got 2 wide either side of the field to work with. Hands to Andre Wright. Wright squirts through on the left side. Takes it down to the 22. Remember 2 weeks ago, a missed field goal hurt New Haven, and then they lost in overtime by 1, and they're going to take a timeout now with 40.1 seconds remaining. In this 14-14 tie, it'll be 2nd down and 7 when we return to John Young Stadium. This is IHSAA football right here on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Annual Fort Wayne Arts Festival at Jefferson Point that begins tomorrow and runs through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. 2nd down and 12, still 40.1 seconds remaining. Motion from right to left. Jakar Williams gets by 1, rolls to the right. He's got open field, cuts at the 25, 20, 15, 10, down out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, New Haven. Williams picking him up and laying him down, and has the Bulldogs knocking on the door now. It'll be 1st and goal at the 9. 32.4 seconds remaining. Bulldogs trying to punch it in and grab the lead back. They led 14-0. We're tied at 14 all. Williams again, same set, 2 wide. Low snap, gives to Wright. Wright fights, back pedals down close to the 5-yard line. Clock is running down to 25 seconds. They'll mark it just outside the 5. It'll be 2nd down and goal. And the clock continues to run. Let's see if they are going to put more time on the clock. We'll have a stoppage here. Shows 18. We'll check that when we return. We have a timeout down below. 14-14 tie. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Well, Jimmy Lynn will be happy there's a little bit more time on the clock. 26.9 seconds now. It'll be second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Bulldogs trying to punch it in, trying to break the 14-all tie. Jakar Williams, the sophomore quarterback at 6'3". DeAndre Wright offset to the left side. And the look on the read option. Here's Wright again. Curls back to the left. Brings it inside the 5 down to the 3. Clock is stopped with 21 seconds and change. Another timeout by New Haven. So it'll be third down and goal with the ball at the 3 when we return. And this is IHSAA football on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Now they head back to the field. Likewise, Pete Kemp's defense for the Barons trying to stop the Bulldogs here on third down and goal at the 3-yard line. Jakar Williams brings his team up the line of scrimmage now. He's got Fields Lewis up in the slot to the right side. Lane Woodson split wide of him. Will they put it in the air? And will DeKalb now take a timeout? They wanted to see that New Haven offense, which really has not changed much tonight. So we have another stoppage down below, and we'll step out once again. Still this 14-14 tie to be decided. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. DeAndre Wright walks back out on the field. To his left is the 6'3" sophomore quarterback, Jakar Williams. Fields Lewis still slot right. Lane Woodson split wide of him to the right side. Here's the snap. Here's Williams, rolls right, looking, turns the corner, and wrapped up. Second effort, got to the 2, but did not score. It'll be fourth down, and now a decision for Jimmy Lynn. Will he try to get the field goal? Nose of the football is going to be spotted just inside the 3. It'll be fourth down and goal from the 2. Well, 2 weeks ago they gambled in overtime, went for 2 instead of a tying extra point. They're going to gamble here to try to take the lead. 15.2 seconds remaining. Empty backfield now. And here is a sneak straight up the middle. Did they get in? They do not indicate. They're going to wait while they unpile. And DeKalb is held. And the final seconds, well, they stop it with 5.2 seconds, but Williams on a quarterback sneak could not get it in. So the fourth down bid fails. And we will go tied, barring something strange happening here on this DeKalb possession inside the 1, but it should be a 14-14 tie. Second fourth down stop we've had here tonight in this first half. I believe they're going to have to take a snap. And remember, there's no margin for error here. Ball will be received about 2 yards deep in the end zone. And here is the run. I don't know if they got, let's see if they do get across, and that will in this first half. So it will be a 14-14 tie. And we're going to go down with Joe Walburn.
To stop that drive there right before halftime. It seemed like you guys got your power rushing attack going, but how big was that defensive stop before halftime?
Well, we have 3 massive special teams mistakes, 1 massive offensive mistake. We are not playing very good football right now, and kudos to New Haven. Haven't tackled very well. We are sustaining now up front. We got to continue sustaining. We got to convert our passing plays. That big drop on 4th and or 3rd and short right there was, not like I say it was a touchdown, but it could have been a big game if we outrun the inside backer. So we got a lot to clean up for this half. That's a huge stop for us down there, a huge stop for our defense, and it's going to be a dogfight in the second half.
Yeah, it is, but it's got to be a lot of character with your kids to go down early 14-0, but your kids suck it up and respond, and you really got that offensive line going there in the second quarter, Coach.
Yeah, they're a gritty group of dudes. Learning to play football on the fly. A lot of them, again, this is only their 3rd game playing varsity football, and New Haven's a tough one to play against because they bring a lot of funk. They blitz a ton, and they blitz and move, and we're excited to see what we can do in the second half. And Tanner Jack's been going. Landon's been running hard. Eschbach got that big touchdown run. So we got to keep pounding the ball and hitting our shots when they're there.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. And, Joe, one of the area's great young coaches, Joe, and that was a big stop for DeKalb to keep that momentum. So great conference matchup, Joe, and we're going to have a great second half.
No question. Joe Auburn with DeKalb coach Pete Kempf. So Joe kind of rolled the dice there, and it was DeKalb's defense that keep this a 14-all tie, headed now to the halftime intermission show. Brought to you by Indiana Michigan Power. We'll take a timeout. Don't forget, Katrina Walburn standing by in the wings to tell us about what's going on this weekend at Jefferson Point. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. Well, it happens every year at this time, an event that everyone in Fort Wayne looks forward to. It's the annual Fort Wayne Arts Festival located here at Jefferson Point. And it all occurs this coming weekend, actually beginning tomorrow. That's Saturday, September the 7th, and through Sunday, September the 8th. And Katrina, I'm a little bit like your husband, Joe. When we hear the term fine arts, we're laymen. We think, well, it's got to be paintings, it's got to be maybe some artwork, but your fine art show includes really across the spectrum, much more diverse, including oils, acrylic, and things like that, but much, much more.
That's right. And for our arts festival, you do need to be juried in. And for those that don't understand what that is, we don't take just any artist. We don't just take their money and let them set up. You do need to be juried in, so you do need to show us your work, documented, and then we decide whether or not your abilities are up to par with our arts festival. And we really have an overwhelming number of just great artists in this community and in the regional area.
And their displays and cover the range anywhere from oil, acrylics, photography, sculpture. The one that caught my wife's eye, jewelry. The ladies are going to love that.
You will find a lot of jewelry, even fine jewelry, pearls, handmade. Everything is one of a kind. And it really is a great event. If you've never been to our arts festival, this is something you definitely want to mark on your calendar for this weekend.
Now, the location, everybody understands you've got some construction going on with the road, but no problem because it'll be situated in the fountain area right around center court, so that's easy to find.
Yeah, we have about 40 vendors that will have pop-up tents, and it is going to be around the fountain area at center court. Really easy to find. You can park in front of Von Mar, you could park in front of Chico's or even Marshall's and just kind of walk through and, take your time and really... I love this event. This is one of my favorite events that we do every year.
And as far as the display, not just for display, but for sale also.
Yes, that's very important. I mean, these artists do need to make a living, and all of their hand work is on display and for sale. The hours, again, are tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then from 6 until 8 p.m., we have a concert.
And as far as the music, though, that continues, does it not? And you've got things going on basically both days?
Yes, we do. So the concert features local artists here, original music, from 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. And then Sunday, we have the Fine Arts Festival that continues, and that's from noon until 5.
Well, that's this weekend. Of course, there's always something going on here at Jefferson Point. Let's look ahead to the following weekend. You've got a safety fair coming up. Talk to us a little bit about what that involves.
Yeah, well, the safety fair is an annual event. It is Saturday, September 14th. It's in the parking lot behind Smoky Bones, between Smoky Bones and the movie theater, and it is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lots of first responders. We do have coffee with a cop. We'll have some giveaways, but this is one of our bigger events, and the families love this event.
It's interesting now with what's going on with Hurricane Dorian, a lot of attention to what's going on in the east and the southeast coast, and I'm sure your first responder, we don't have to worry about hurricanes, but we do have to be concerned about such things as tornadoes, this kind of the time of the year, and I'm sure they'll have some observations for the people about safety and what to be looking out for.
Absolutely. So water safety is another big one that we're focusing on this year. Water safety, fire safety, of course, electrical, down power lines. We have nearly 65 first responder type people that are going to be here teaching the public, how to be safe and what to be aware of. And we also have a helicopter. It's going to be landing in the parking lot from Lutheran Air. So that's always a really cool thing to mention.
Very, very cool. Well, it's all happening not only this weekend, but next weekend. And the next weekend, as we mentioned, the Safety Fair on the weekend of September the 14th. And, of course, make sure you hear this weekend, beginning tomorrow, the annual Fort Wayne Art Show at Center Court at Fort Wayne's premier lifestyle shopping center, Jefferson Point. Now back to more high school football right here on Fox Sports 1250, The Ticket. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's go another 3 minutes, because then when you have 3 minutes left plus the warm-up, we'll try to work some of those spots off. Okay. We won't be here all night.
Ladies and gentlemen, New Haven High School, mighty marching Bulldogs. And now performing a cheer, along with your New Haven High School cheerleaders, are participants in the 2019 Summer Cheer Camp. They'll be performing a cheer and then a dance.
Copy. (14-14) tie here at halftime as the Bulldogs' bid to score right before halftime failed as DeKalb came up with some defense, stopped them at the 1-yard line. That's the way the first half would end. But it would be an interception by Howard Chandler to start the ball game as New Haven got the ball early. They won the toss, deferred. DeKalb had a first opportunity, but Chandler's interception at the 43-yard line gave the Bulldogs the first scoring opportunity. That would turn into a 16-yard screen pass, good for the score. Jakar Williams, the sophomore quarterback, to Jamar Hutchins on a screen play, and 16 yards for the touchdown. 5:14 the time of the score. Sowers would add the extra point, and New Haven would lead at the end of the first quarter 7-0. Big play for the Bulldogs. Then about midway through the second quarter, on 4th down and long, it would be a 4th down fake and a roll by Howard Chandler once again as he would roll all the way out to the DeKalb 37, and that would set the stage for a 5-yard touchdown run by DeAndre Wright at the 8:18 mark as Wright would break a couple of tackles inside the 3-yard line. Sowers would add the extra point. It was 14-0 in favor of New Haven. But Evan Eschbach, the senior quarterback, would call his own number, rolling to the right side, and would cap a 63-yard drive for the Barons as they would get on the board at the 5:06 mark of the second quarter. 14-7 after Zacharias knocked through the extra point, and the lead was cut in half. Then after a timeout, DeKalb would score again. One play after the timeout, 34-yard touchdown blast by Landon Miller. At the 3:35 mark, Zacharias again on to tie the game at 14 all. But New Haven would get a good kick return by Fields Lewis. They would have it all the way down inside the 30-yard line, and it would culminate after a couple of runs inside the 10. Jakar Williams would try to sneak it in from the inside the 2-yard line. He was stopped at the goal line. No touchdown. That's where we are right now in still this 14-14 tie. Let's take another quick 2-minute timeout. We'll be back. Joe Walburn's got scores from elsewhere as this great Northeast 8 conference game continues. As we'll head to the second half momentarily. 14-14 is our tie, and this is IHSAA football on Fox Sports, 1250 The Ticket. Yeah, let's get another 2 minutes in. And good. Yeah, they're rocking and rolling here at John Young Stadium. 14-14 tie. Let's bring in Joe with a look at scores elsewhere.
Yeah, great matchup here. Obviously a big conference game and some other games around the Northeast 8. How about Columbia City and Coach Fox? They're building a new high school out there in Columbia City. He's building a program. 44-0 over Belmont. So Columbia City's going to go to 3-0. Here's a score that surprised me. I thought East Noble would roll tonight. So far at halftime, it's Huntington North and East Noble tied at 7. So that's a little bit of a surprise. Got a baseball score for you. I know it's getting late in the baseball season. Leo on a 2-run home run. Leo 2-0 over Norwell. But how about Norwell? I think Norwell is a big surprise this year. That Norwell defense has gotten a lot better. And then Woodland's up 14-0 on Heritage. So Woodland that got that beat down last week with one of your Ohio teams, the Joe Parson Ohio teams, Marion Local, responding with a good effort tonight. Over in the Summit Athletic Conference, good game over at Northrop. It's Wayne 19-14 over Northrop on the turf at Spoller. How about Homestead? They continue to roll on. We knew Bishop Luers didn't have a lot of size, but Luers had a good win over Wayne last week, but 48-0 at the half. Homestead's rolling. Carroll 28-0 over Tommy's I'm sorry, not Redskins. I got to check myself. Legends. Tommy's going to slap me. Carroll 28-0 over the Northside Legends. This one's interesting, too. Snyder jumped out 14-0 on Concordia. It's only Snyder 17, Concordia 7. Concordia every year always gives Snyder's fits, and Coach Manigold's got great kids, and they never quit. And quickly, Dwenger 41, Southside nothing.
Well, New Haven won the toss, deferred. They'll get the ball to start here now to start the second half. Working out of the west end zone. Fields Lewis back deep, and he's an exciting young player, isn't he, Joe?
Boy, he's awesome. He was awesome on that punt return, Joe, because DeKalb had the angle, and Lewis just ran away from him. But I think this is a big drive for New Haven because that was a big stop for DeKalb, and New Haven needs to get that momentum back. And if I'm New Haven, I get this ball. I really crank up the passing attack with Williams.
Zacharias ready to kick the ball away, approaches with a left foot. No, it's a punch ball and goes high. That's a fumbled ball. And DeKalb has got it at the New Haven 31-yard line. I believe they do. And a mistake, a big mistake once again by New Haven, as they could not corral that bounding ball.
And you got to be alive. You got to be ready for that, Joe. And that's a great call by DeKalb to be gutsy. But if you're one of those upbacks, and I played that position a lot in college, you got to be ready for that football, and you just have to cover it. So that's just like a turnover. And that's a big momentum play for DeKalb. Now DeKalb can come out with the short field and with their power rushing attack and run downhill.
So 1st and 10, DeKalb at the New Haven 32 on the kickoff recovery. Eschbach with a great opportunity now, looks to hand it off. There's Landon Miller, is wrapped up though and will not gain a yard.
And it's good to see Josh Grigsby's back out there, Joe. He left in the first half, number 50 for New Haven. And we wondered because New Haven needs him back, and he makes the tackle that time. So it's good to see him back out there.
2nd down and 10. Eschbach, his team huddle up as he gazes toward the sidelines and Pete Kempf. 2nd down and 10. Play clock is down to 14. And they're going to send a wide out to the left side. That's the short side of the field. Eschbach with 5 on the play clock now takes the snap, waiting for it, I should say. Looks read option, wants to throw, double pumps, has got a catch. Short of the 1st down, that's at the 26.
And that's Rhodes out there, Joe, and he's so explosive. Rhodes goes 5'8", 150, but that time he shows you the preciseness of his route running. And how about Estep just to kind of step back, Eschbach, and just put that ball on Rhodes, and that's a good 2nd down play for DeKalb.
Kind of fortunate, though, he stared down that receiver, looked at him all the way, kind of double pumped as well. But it'll bring up 3rd down and 5. This time the wide side to the right, 2 wide out there. Eschbach with a running back, Landon Miller. No, it's going to be Miller turns the corner, and he's got the 1st down easily. Cuts it inside the New Haven 20 down to about the 16.
And that's, again, good push up front. The left tackle, Tyson Conley, that time turns the New Haven defensive end inside, and Miller reads that hole.
That's been a problem, New Haven trying to get containment to the defensive ends, to the outside.
And it's tough because Conley goes 6'3", 265, and he's so strong on that edge for DeKalb.
1st and 10 now at the 17 for DeKalb at the New Haven 17-yard line. Eschbach again on the read option, looks, hands it off. Here's a sweep to the right side. Miller again cuts down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
And that's the challenge for New Haven. And we talk about so often, whether it's professional, college, or high school, good coaches make those adjustments at halftime. DeKalb now is bouncing that off-tackle game a little bit to the outside, but New Haven needs to make that adjustment and get more men at the point of attack.
So the Barons once down 14-0 here. They'll have it 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. This time Miller offset to the left side next to Evan Eschbach. Got a wing back off the left side as well, but the run is off to the right and up the middle, and that'll be a touchdown run into the end zone. Miller from 4 yards out at the 9:55 mark, so the kickoff recovery pays dividends for DeKalb, and they're up 20-14.
And that's a good drive. That's a little bit of passing out of DeKalb, but it's right back with that power rushing game. And I love that move by Landon Miller. He plants the outside leg, Joe, makes one guy miss, and gets into the end zone. So good intensity on that drive for DeKalb, and that's the way you come out of the locker room and punch New Haven in the mouth.
Zacharias trying it. They were a man short. Still 15 on the play clock, so they reset. Zacharias trying to give them a lead of 7. Here's the kick on the way, tailing off to the left, but it curled inside the left upright. So the kick is good. 21-14 Barons here for the first time tonight on top in the 3rd quarter. We'll step out. This is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. Once led 14-0, but DeKalb now, Joe, with 21 unanswered points.
And they're well coached, and I felt like DeKalb never panicked, and just stuck to their game plan of running the football. Sometimes in games, you see a team get behind and they'll abandon the run. Not DeKalb tonight. They've been patient. Now let's see if New Haven can get their offense going.
Zacharias ready to kick it away. A line drive, bounding ball. That's fielded high in the air. Another bobble. But New Haven this time does have it at the 26, but they give ground, and that's going to cost them all the way back around their 21-yard line.
And that is well coached by DeKalb. Obviously, DeKalb wants to keep the ball away from the speedy New Haven returners, but how well has that been done, Joe? That's great special teams with DeKalb. After the bust on the punt return the first half, DeKalb has cleaned up their special teams in the second half.
So New Haven does have their first possession now the second half, but it'll be 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 21-yard line. See how Jakar Williams responds. His team now down 7. Sets up out of the shotgun formation. Looking on the read option, hands it off, right straight ahead. Crashes across the 21, got maybe a couple of yards out. I don't think he made it to the 23. Short gain.
Looked like DeAndre Wright that time run the football, but I think New Haven's going to have to get on the edge and attack DeKalb on the edge, Joe.
Wright picks up a yard, 2nd down and 9. Boy, another penalty flag thrown by E.J. Carroll, our referee tonight.
I tell you, those penalties are just devastating with New Haven. And being this deep in your territory, you don't want to have these mistakes, especially with the young quarterback.
Legal shift is the signal by the referee. So 2nd and 9 now comes 2nd and 14.
And that's just a mental mistake. That's when you call a play and a wide receiver lines up in the wrong alignment. So that situation, New Haven needs to get everybody reshifted, but didn't happen that time. So this is danger time now for New Haven. DeKalb's taking control of this game. This is an extremely important drive.
Williams ready now to take the snap. Clock inside 9.5 minutes. Low snap, but he's got it. Throws the ball in the out pattern. Here's a catch made, but good defense by DeKalb right on the play as that ball right in the hands of Jamar Hutchins, but he was not able to speed away much for. He'll pick up some of that yardage lost, but it'll bring him still 3rd down and about, 6 or 7.
And you called it, Joe. That's a great play by number 23, Nate Williams for DeKalb. Only a sophomore, Joe, 6'3", 175. And Coach Kemp is really excited about his ability, and you see it there with the big tackle.
Bulldogs can pick up a 1st down if they reach at least their 31 on this snap. Williams out of the gun again. Short drop. Looks right. Screens the ball. And reversing back to the left side. That's Hutchins, but tripped up and angles out of bounds. And now he stepped out of bounds, Joe, back at the 26. He thought he was going out at the 31. That's a difference of 5 yards. And instead of the 1st down, it'll bring up 4th down and about 4 or 5.
And number 90, Devin Smith for DeKalb. You can see his ability to chase, Joe. That's a big-time play to run him down.
How about this young man? He's a 6'1 junior. He's got 23 tackles already for the year. He had 16 last week against Garrett.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. And when he gets in the weight room and gets some size, he's going to be fun to watch.
Chandler to punt. No fake here. Gets it away. Low line drive. Bounds inside the 40. That's picked up. A return across the 35 to the 40. Spinning off a tackle to the 45-yard line. So that return by Easton Rhodes. And again, very good field position for the Barons. They lead it by 7, 21-14.
Great hands by Easton Rhodes. Again, I cannot tell you enough how important it is for Easton Rhodes to come up and catch that punt, Joe. And that ability to catch that punt is really important.
Here come the Barons up the line of scrimmage now. They'll have it at their own 47-yard line. 1st and 10. Too wide to the right, but the weapon du jour for the Barons has been the run game, especially by Landon Miller. And they'll look, and here's a hole up the middle as they'll bring it to midfield.
Yeah, again, good
push. That was Tanner Jack actually in there.
And don't you like, Joe, how they use those backs? You feel like you get a real dose of Landon Miller with the cutting ability. Then they come back and they slam you with Tanner Jack, and they have a nice feel for the way they keep their backs fresh.
Jack gains 3, 2nd and 7. 2 wide to the right. Easton Rhodes becomes the slot receiver. And Evan Ashback now resets a blocker off to the right wing. And whistles blow again. Going to be another penalty. Was New Haven offsides?
Yeah, looked like it, Joe. And right now, New Haven, if I'm Coach Lynn, I burn a timeout right now. I get my guys together and I say, look, we're in this game 21-14. We have to keep our discipline and we have to keep our composure. This is a huge drive. It feels like if DeKalb goes down and gets a touchdown here, Joe, I'm concerned what New Haven has left in the tank.
You wonder, is it Ashback with the hard count?
Oh, yeah. Senior, the hard count. And I tell you, you'd be surprised how often that works with that hard count.
2nd and short. Barons need a couple. Ashback out of the gun now, shotgun formation. But he'll look to hand it off, and there's Jack up the middle of the second level, and he's tripped up, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle by New Haven, as Jack was tripped up inside the 30-yard line, and he was off to the races.
Boy, it looked like he was going to motor to the end zone, and I think it was Lamar Hutchins that got him that time, Joe. But how about the off tackle? And it just feels like that DeKalb offensive line is lathered up. They're getting off the ball, and DeKalb's running downhill on New Haven now.
1st and 10 at the Bulldog 31 for the Barons, on the move again with 6:36 remaining here in the third quarter. Here's Tanner Jack looking to follow blockers off the left side. Got to the 30, that turned around, wrapped up by New Haven. They limit to a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, good job that time by Deshaun Morgan from his defensive tackle position. 6'2", 230, and an interesting prospect out there, Joe. Lots of athletic ability, and they project him on the next level, maybe to be a linebacker, and he has the feet to play that position.
Rhodes again splits wide to the left. Inside on the slot will be Tanner Huff. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Here's the drop by Ashback. Throws the fade. He's got a wide open receiver and missed him. Boy, I tell you what, Easton Rhodes, he settled down, turned around, but the ball sailed over his head, incomplete.
That's when we talk about the film study tomorrow morning. If you're Ashback, that's when you excuse yourself to the bathroom because you're going to hate that. I think he was almost surprised how open Rhodes was, and that's one of those plays, Joe, you don't have to throw a perfect spiral. Just kind of muscle it out there to him.
Well, you kind of wonder. It looked like Rhodes was running a post corner.
He had him,
or
yeah.
I should say that Ashback thought he was running a post corner. He wasn't. He was just running a little square in.
Yeah, he was, and he kind of bent it in, and he was wide open that time.
3rd and 9 now. Big call for the Bulldogs defensively. Here's a sweep coming up to the right side. Running room again to the 20, down to the 19. Again, lowering his shoulder and gaining extra yardage. Running back once again was and coming up limping a little bit was Landon Miller.
Yeah, and that time the center, Logan Dallas, 5'10", 225, Joe, the junior. Got a great block, and I can't say enough about the offensive line. And how about Coach Kemp? You know, the confidence to run off tackle on 3rd and long with your offensive line.
They'll bring Tanner Jack back in as the running back, the one back. Rhodes up on the wing to the right side now. And Jack straight ahead plunge into the second level, finally brought down New Haven at their 10-yard line.
Yeah, another big push up front. If I'm New Haven at this point, I gamble, Joe. I roll my safeties up. I get into a 5-2, and I say, okay, beat me with the pass. But you know what? I'm going to stop the bleeding here with the rushing attack.
Gain of 9, 2nd and short, 2nd and 1. Ball's right at the 10-yard line. Ashback checks that New Haven defense. Tanner Jack lined up behind him. Looks to him again this time. Well, it's a keeper play that time, and New Haven sniffed that one out. They stayed with Ashback and drop him outside the 10.
Yeah, that's Isaac Carswell, number 20 for New Haven. The inside linebacker, Joe, 5'11", 180, a sophomore. A heck of a football player, and that time Carswell stops that play. So let's see. This will be interesting. 3rd and 2. I bet they go off tackle. What do you think, Mr. Parsons?
It was 2nd down and 1. Now it's 3rd down and 2. There is Easton Rhodes wide to the left side.
I sell out here if I'm New Haven against the run.
Ashback, let's see what he comes up with now. Looking on the read option straight ahead. There's Tanner Jack to the 5. And still fighting for yardage. But they'll mark him down right at the 5-yard line. It'll ring up 1st and goal.
And just total domination up front right now. Again, That's Logan Dallas, the center that just makes the key block that time. And, we thought Snyder, we were really impressed with their offensive line. They're going to have an awesome offensive line. Carroll was impressive last week with their offensive line. DeKalb's not quite as big as Snyder, but just as impressive with the offensive line, Joe.
Yeah, pound for pound in this class, they match up with most anybody. First and goal at the 5-yard line. Ashback looks again to Jack, cuts to his right, back pedals, but knocked down, a knee hit. Ball popped free, but I believe they're going to rule it down on contact right at the inside the 2-yard line.
Yeah, good call, Joe. He was down. Good push again. Looked like Jack got his knee twisted, and I think he's going to have to come out of the game. We'll see if he comes back. He was twisted up pretty good. I think Miller's going to come in the game now, and you'll probably get Miller off tackle. And if I'm New Haven, I'm selling out on this play. But just this second half, it seemed like DeKalb had so much momentum going into halftime, and they have just pounded New Haven with the rushing attack.
Well, speaking of pounding, both running backs for the Barons have been a little nicked up this series. But Landon Miller's back in there, gets the call, looks, and he will walk into the end zone. A huge hole between left guard and center. 2 yards on the touchdown run by Landon Miller once again. And it's an advantage, DeKalb 27-14 at the 3:06 mark.
Landon Miller gets the touchdown, but that's the Logan Dallas drive, the center at that time. Another great block. That was just total domination up front. And you can see now DeKalb is really wearing out that New Haven defensive line.
Zacharias on to attempt the extra point, trying to give him there's a fire play as the ball is knocked down. Never really got beyond the holder. So it'll keep it 27-14. Bulldogs still within 13. When we return here to John Young Stadium, this is IHSAA football on Fox Sports 1250 The Ticket. Good, good.
Yeah, right down here. They scored right down. You just recovered from the cold. Right? It's all right. You're doing okay.
Ticket number is 353-216.
Southside caught the winger yet?
Bulldogs about to get the football once again. Welcome back, everybody, with Joe Auburn. And what do you got, Joe?
Tommy's giving me a hard time. He asked if Southside caught Dwenger. No, it was 41-0 Dwenger. But how about this, Tommy? Carroll 41, Northside nothing. So how's that feel, brother?
You're going to beat North.
I tell you what, though, interesting score, though. Snyder's now kind of extended it a little bit on Concordia. 31-14, Snyder over Concordia. Still 19-14, Northrop and Wayne, so a dogfight at Spuller Stadium between those two teams.
Bulldogs, let's see how they answer now. They
got to
trail
answer,
by
Joe.
13 points.
And excuse me, they got to answer here, Joe, or they're dead in the water. They need to get some momentum.
But they've got to handle this kickoff. Twice it's been a problem now, and it's cost them the lead. Zacharias ready to approach at the 40. Again, punches the ball, bounding ball, takes a bounce, caught at the 30. Here's a run to the left side. Again, not much there, but still looking for some running room. And carry across the 35 out to about the 37-yard line. So the Bulldogs, a little dipsy-do play is Quantry Sanders, a 5'8 sophomore.
After a play like that, you run to the sideline to the coach, and you say, "You see that, coach? You need to get me some carries." But how about Sanders in the feet? So, nice return now. Maybe a chance for New Haven to get going. Right now, I don't like their body language. I'm trying to get guys pumped up. Let's go. Maybe you run a little bit of a hurry-up offense with New Haven, but try to get things going and establish a good drive here. You still got a chance. A lot of football left in this game, but this is a big drive here, Joe.
Yeah, big series coming up for the Bulldogs, and decent field position at their own 37. First and 10. Play clock at 16. Williams sets up out of the shotgun once again. Too wide to his right. Wants to run the ball. An off-tackle run to the left side. That'll be out to the 40, close to the 41-yard line. And you'd expect that would be DeAndre Wright, and it was.
Yeah, it's DeAndre Wright running hard. Not allowed block that time, but Wright carries tacklers for a few yards. And again, your favorite player for DeKalb, Devin Smith, makes another tackle.
Second call at 7. And there was movement at the line of scrimmage, but defensively they didn't come across.
I thought Logan, New Haven